ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the European Masters. We've done a bit of a switcheroo. We are very much in the NLC takeover day. My name is Hiprain, and I am joined by Troubling. Trouble, how are you doing?
Hello, hello. I'm very excited. It's our first cast. It's together. The NLC has taken the desk and the caster desk 2 in 1 today. Our teams are taking the team. Sorry. I misunderstood how our situation with the NLC is. But yeah, I'm really excited to cast today's games.
Yeah, it's not going great for us, but let's have a look at who it is going great for. We're kind of following Group B at the moment today. We just had Misfits take a win over a Go Rogue, and that actually really shakes things up over in Group B. But coming up as our next game is actually going to be SuppUp versus G2 Artic. And G2 Artic are a team who are maybe struggling a little bit here in Group B 0 and 2. But before we talk too much about them, I actually do want to focus a little bit more on SuppUp themselves. And one player in particular has stood out to me, and that is their mid laner, 2hoyrz, has honestly had such a good performance here at the European Masters so far. A 22 KDA, that is second highest in the European Masters. A 71% kill participation and 32% of his damage share.
I mean, honestly, I just really want to talk about his game yesterday on Akali. They played against Misfits Premier, and I think 15 minutes into the game, Misfits were 7 or 8k gold in the lead. That game looked absolutely unwinnable, and this madman on your screen on the Akali, he stayed even in CS. He managed to find trades. He managed to carry team fights. The guy did not die a single time on an AP melee assassin that goes in the entire time. He had full kill participation, but 2 kills. It was impeccable to watch him play the fights. He was in, he would kill, he was out, he was in again, still 0 deaths.
He honestly, 2hoyrz had an amazing game, but I also do want to kind of give a bit of a shout out to VZZ as well, the AD carry, because while he, he didn't have the 2hoyrz pop-off performance, and bar, maybe a few positional errors, was still a consistently good member in both of their games as well. So the 2 carries for SuppUp have really impressed me, and we were quite ready to write off the Balkans as a region because they just, since the click tech clap, it hadn't really stood out. We've been always singing their praises, and then all of a sudden they challenge Misfits. They challenge Mouse and they beat Misfits. They've just had a really, really good start to the group stage, and G2 Artic on the other side have not had a very good start. They walked through play-ins. They destroyed Fnatic Rising, a team who, everyone assumed were going to make it out of play-ins and into the group stages and potentially even make it into that top 4, top 8 kind of area. And they just halted them entirely. But it feels like the brakes have kind of been slammed on for G2 Artic since the moment they got into the group stage.
And it kind of mirrors the way that the regular split went over in Spain. They were first, no contention over there in the regular split. And when it comes to playoffs, they lose 3-0 to Real Betis, like no questions asked. And it feels like when the pressure is actually on, G2 Arctic kind of sit back, relax, and allow the game to triangle the way without necessarily taking any risks. But if you don't take any risks and you chill back and you're like, it's okay, we're scaling, if your opponent takes too much off of you, you're just going to suffer.
Well, we're into Champ Select picks and bans for our 4th game of the day. It's going to be the Silas taking away so far, and there goes the Fresh from G2 Artic. It makes sense realistically. The Fresh is pretty high priority in that support pool at the moment. Curious to see where the rotation kind of goes. Are we going to see the likes of a Akali ban? Maybe that's Syndra as well. 2 picks we have seen 2hoyrz play a lot of, but for the moment it is just going to be the Rel.
And this opens a lot of questions, because if the Rel gets banned right here, the other S-tier support that it remains in the pool that can really hard engage and roam is the Alistar. And I want to see which side of the coin it's going to land in, because this is both in a shared pool of Mersa and Efias here. But the Nautilus gets out, it's SuppUp have shown that they can play it all over the map. Now what I'm thinking now, do you start banning junglers? Do you start banning the Udyr? Do you start banning the Hecarim and grab the Tristana first pick? But the reply comes right here, because SuppUp want to ban the Tristana themselves.
To me, okay, I was about to say it looks like they were going to handshake the Udyr Hecarim over, but with the Hecarim ban coming out from G2 Artic, the Seraphine has been left open, a very flexible pick. You can put it in the mid lane, you can put it in the bot lane, but this does give over something like the Udyr if Koldo wants to play it. We'll see whether or not they're going to go for that one, as it looks like that most likely should be their pickup here, right?
I think this is going to be Mersa Seraphine. SuppUp have only shown that they can play down the bot lane. Now, after a pop-off sort of a performance from 2hours, both on the Syndra and the Akali, I don't expect him to go passive mode and sort of farm his way to Moonstone with the Seraphine to back up Spooky. So I'm thinking this has to be Mersa down bot. Now, what do you have left? You have the Volibear left in the jungle. Spooky has showed us Sivana. He showed us Karthus. He showed Ivan back in the EBL. So it could be something that is a surprise pick. He's just going to choose to go with meta, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, he played this yesterday, I believe. This is actually, yeah, he stole the Elder Dragon on it. Yeah, we just had a clip in the replay. So kind of, you know, meta playing towards that. Pretty safe pick in the jungle as well. Expecting this to probably be VZZ's AD carry here. Things like the Varus has made a massive resurgence recently in the bot lane, and it is actually just going to be the Renekton for klowny. So they're kind of forsaking their AD carry pool, saying it's wide enough. VZZ can pick whatever he wants. And G2 Artic, on the other hand, though, maybe not looking towards this top lane, might just look to get themselves a powerful bot lane. But say that, and then instantly switching it over. Oscarinin going to take the Gangplank.
I was about to say this is a double-edged sword because you either choose your support to sort of complement the Jinx before they all get bound out, like the Tam Kenchis and the more protective sort of supports around her, or you have to choose a reply towards klowny's Renekton, because clearly the Volibear and the Renekton are chosen to dive you in the mid lane and beat you down. The now was still up and available, so Oscarinin had to make a call right here. Do they get both banned, both the Gangplank and the Na, or do we pick one of the two safe picks here? Now, of course, from the set of G2 Arctic, they have the chance to pinch down the ADC pool. There's still a bunch of them left. The Varus is out. There's the Ashe if you want to have more hard engage. But I feel like SuppUp already have enough engage tools in their kit. And Ashe with Seraphine would be extremely oppressive in lane. So I'm assuming they might choose to take the Ashe out of the picture as well. And on the other side, you can pinch down the pool of the supports as well. I would say get the Tam Kench out of there because it keeps Jinx way too safe in the bot lane.
Yeah, I like the Varus ban. It just would have complemented what SuppUp have put together. Yeah. Gives you that engage. You kind of have a bit of flexibility in your build path with him as well. You can go the on-hit, you can go the poke. Taking away another long-range engage AD carry in the Ashe here from VZZ. So things like the Xayah are still open to me. We could even see the Senna and just get the farming going on the Seraphine if they want to do that. Got a few options. I don't know how that goes though, so maybe not. I'm not sure.
I think this is going to be a VZZ Caitlyn special. They don't share the champion. Supa has not shown that he plays the Caitlyn. He does pretty well versus the Jinx. It is extremely oppressive together with the Seraphine because they clear waves really quickly. They have the offensive, but they have the defensive as well with all the peeling that Seraphine provides. And again, I'm assuming that the Seraphine will go down the bot lane. Now, the Alistar does make things dodgy because he protect, but he also attack. And this is very dangerous when you have the Seraphine down bot lane. So I think we're going to get a reply here. I'm assuming this has to be the Caitlyn down bot, and you're going to have pressure on every single lane if you're Spooky, which is extremely useful.
We'll see what they're going to pick up here for their AD carry role. Looks like they are just going to lock in the Nautilus as their support. So something that can kind of add to this front line. So they got a nice front line put together, but now they need to round it out with something that can actually do damage. Makes me think, is the Caitlyn going to spike maybe too slow to kind of be able to deal with this comp? I still feel like the Xayah is not a bad pick. And actually, sorry, it's VZZ on the Seraphine, and 2hoyrz is taking the Ryze mid. Okay, that's a good flex. I like that.
Wow. Okay, so they're pulling the dark magic, what I call it. Every time you have mates down the bot lane, oh my god, I thought that for a second that was locked in. I'm a die-hard fan for Kiana, but it's not going to be the case because you already have Gangplank, Jinx, and Udyr in your kit. I do like the Syndra here. Syndra and Udyr is the next Rek'Sai Syndra that we saw in Worlds 2 years ago. It's extremely powerful. Pushes lane really hard. It can roam together. It can be extremely oppressive in the rivers, top and bottom. So I'm just wondering here. So they're gonna swap. I wonder if
Ryze is going
like
mid.
this.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
it's not Renekton mid. It's not. They've got till 20 seconds, I believe. So it's probably just sorting runes out and things. But
They do, but I'm not sure because klowny does play wacky picks up the top lane. It wouldn't be necessarily bad to play the Ryze versus the Gangplank because it has a lot of pushing power, and it's going to be it. So I really like this adaptation. Again, Renekton does pretty well. He's very beefy to go against the Syndra, and he can pressure for kill as well. I like what SuppUp have done here because they have pressure on every single lane. Spooky has setup also on every single lane. So wherever he chooses to put his finger and go for a gank, I think he has a massive welcome from his team and massive setup.
So Ryze is absolutely top lane. That is completely confirmed to me in my ear now. So I know that is definitely going to be happening. No champ select bugs or anything like that going on. But yeah. So how do we kind of think this game's going to go early? You know, we've got the Volibear versus the Udyr. Is it just going to be mids? Well, the Syndra gets the shove and then just moves around with the Udyr around the map, or what?
It's pretty much going to be whatever happens every time this season. Every time we go into game, it's like try to get that mid lane prior. It's all about the mid lane prior. It's all about the push, the first shove in the mid lane, and which mid laner is going to move first. If you look down bottom, it's the same case. So it feels like these two junglers are most likely going to go for full clears on both sides. So wherever they end up from, wherever they adapt to, we're going to see the first movement from the laners as well. But when it comes to the early game aggression, you do have a lot of setup mid lane. If you G2 Artic, try to push back the Renekton, try to not allow him to scale into the mid game to be the beast that we all know, and try to get your Syndra ahead because she's the only AP damage scenario in your team. So once she's fed and people have to start itemizing versus the Syndra, you forget that there's also a Gangplank, an Udyr, and a Jinx that are going to be dishing out later on so much AD. I
kind of assume that mid lane is going to be GT favored. If 2hours takes over this mid lane or Renekton versus Syndra, then this game is going to be really, really doomed. And for GT, they need to find a win. They don't want it to go out to day 0 and 3. Losing their first 2 games in the regular stage of the European Masters, and let's be real, they kind of smurfed their way through the play-ins itself. And this is somewhat familiar to G2AR, Artic. This is what we saw them do back home. They had a great regular season. They actually finished first in their regular season, but then in playoffs choked really, really hard.
Yep, and then they had to turn on in the play-ins where they, Fnatic didn't manage to go through G2 Arctic. So the old Fnatic G2, again, goes in favor of G2. But enough with the planes. I'm coming back here into the game. Both junglers start in right side, which means they're going to end up in the opposite sides of the map. Udyr, of course, wants to end up towards the bot side. The Jinx will have the pressure with the rockets. And also you see how the Syndra is trying to pressure that lane, trying to get that priority for the Udyr. I'm just wondering how the trades will look like in the mid lane, because this is a bruiser versus mage matchup, but it's still a ranged versus melee. So Syndra in the starting levels, if she can manage to shove the lane without getting significantly hurt, she can dish out some really good trades.
And twohoyrz is doing a pretty good job of actually keeping himself relevant in CS. He actually hit level 2 first as well. Fresskowy a little bit too scared to step up, but has now got that level 2, so got that scatter the week to kind of bop the crocodile away. klowny here in the top lane though, getting himself a pretty dominant start to this laning phase versus Oscarinin, and Oscarinin hasn't really impressed me so far in the group stages. I've not been overly sold on him, so he's got the Gangplank, he's got somebody who's pretty good at, you know, taking over a game, so I want to see what he can do here, because so far it's not been a great start to the European Masters, or at least in the regular stage.
So the fun thing is that when you're playing the Gangplank, what you're really aiming for later into the game is splitting teams, right? Getting them into choke points, putting down that Gangplank ultimate, waiting for that level 6, having presence into another lane when a gank goes down. So you have that long global engage or dissuade tool, if you will, to sort of break apart a team fight or make a team fight or assist your team. Now, because they have the Seraphine and they have the Ryze and they have the Renekton, the backline access from SuppUp is so massive that I'm not sure how the Gangplank ultimate is going to benefit them here, because you can literally gather your entire team if you're klowny and just dump them onto Supa on the Jinx or into Fresskowy on the Syndra. So I'd like to see how these later on fights are going to play out. And here, klowny, you're tanking a massive wave.
But actually, he's taking a lot of minion damage. Has got Spooky about, and Spooky's going to come out with the Sky Splitter shield onto Oscarinin. Teleport's being used by both teams as this fight is not quite done yet. The Scatter of the Weak hits onto the bear, but twohoyrz also slides his way forward. Spooky making his way out as Koldo gets the bear slap off onto twohoyrz, and he just slices and dices to safety. A lot burnt in the top lane, but nobody's going down yet.
Ooh, that was a slight overextension. Wait a second.
Ryze is going to get locked down by the beat drop, but I mean, it's an Alistar. He's pretty tanky. He's got flash, although he's still trying to hold the wave.
He's doing a healer.
A true hero, by the way.
Yeah. That's the healer special. You literally sacrifice your entire health bar to try and get the wave set up for your ADC. So yeah, ADC difference, Bloom. But going back to the top lane, I have to say that klowny extremely overextended right there. And the thing is that he was able to walk back to lane without using his teleport, so that was one advantage. And he burned that advantage instantly right there. He has to bend his TP now to come to lane, and the Gangplank will just walk, which means that when that level 6 hits, they have teleport advantage from G2, and they also have Gangplank ult. Oh,
2hoyrz has the flash. Koldo does have his flash, but it's just going to hold it. They're going to be happy trading the crocodile flash there for nothing. And Koldo actually can take this opportunity to head into this chicken camp, although Spooky is in the area with a couple of extra members. So it looks like most of this chicken camp will be handed over to the Volibear.
One went to the Nautilus, one went, some of them went to the Renekton. Everybody got a bite of that chicken. At the end of the day, is Spooky securing the big one. And you see again how much impact the mid prior has onto the map. The second 2hoyrz lost his flash and had to back off. Instantly, you see both the Alistar and the Udyr running into the jungle, trying to get something for it. And this is what they are going to get for free here. They're going to have the first dragon in the game stuck in the map. It's going to prove to be so huge later on, because you're basically going to have to be welcoming SuppUp coming through those choke points on the top and bot side of the map, the bot side river, trying to contest for the dragons. If you choke out the vision for them, they're going to have to walk in, and it's going to be really tough against the Syndra, against the Chompers from Jinx, against the Gangplank ultimate.
We've had a slight gold lead building up here in favor of G2 Artic. It's only a 300 gold lead, but only 6 minutes into that game. Bit of that's probably just from this mid lane, to be realistic. It's not anything that's really going to make or break the game right now. As klowny going to get himself the honey fruit to heal back up after he gets himself pretty heavily chunked. And now Spooky maybe looking to jump in onto this mid lane. Oscarinin did use the flash earlier. Has got the trial by fire movement speed, but with the cannon barrage trying to slow and buy time, there is no teleports to come in this time, and that is one dead pirate. Spooky secures first blood.
That was so beautiful. Oh, wait a minute.
Got the Ryze ulti. They're going to miss the scat of the week, and klowny is out of there.
That was so well played, because we said how crucial level 6 for Oscarinin is on this Gangplank. Make a play down bot lane, pop the Gangplank ultimate, get the assist, try to be impactful on that level 6 when klowny can't. Remember, Oscarinin had TP, klowny didn't. Oscarinin has the global, klowny doesn't. They played this so well to try and shut him down at level 6. Spooky's still around. There's still a flash on Oscarinin. This is dangerous.
He's dead. That is just another kill to the bear. But this time it's actually going to be klowny who picks up that one. Oscarinin teleporting back in and then just getting himself chunked out instantly. klowny happy to walk away with this lane advantage now.
And this is where you see the synergy coming through, right? Because we've been talking about the click tech and how they were gelled together and how they played so well. Spooky, klowny, and VZZ have been playing together for 4 seasons, 2 whole years together. And it shows here so beautifully. Oscarinin hits level 6, instantly gets jumped on, doesn't get to use his cannon barrage to assist his team because he's dying himself. He has the TP advantage, like, it's fine guys, I have the TP, I can come back to lane. Spooky is 60 head right here. He will sit around, sees Oscarinin overextend, klowny is like low HP, Oscarinin is like he's really low, he can't contest right here, takes the tower shot, and look at that, the bear is still up top lane. That is a huge, huge punishment, and klowny can get to manipulate the wave however he wants. And if you look in the top side right now, Oscarinin is screwed. The wave is stuck underneath klowny's tower.
He's doing his best to try and reset it to bounce it into the tower. That's a large wave, although klowny able to melt through that himself with those overloads. So wave won't be in such a rough spot for him, but does have to be quite careful as he's taking a lot of poke from klowny. He's finished up his last chapter, got that tier in the inventory. Now Koldo, seeing if he can set up onto klowny. They got the barrels from Oscarinin. Is going to get blocked out though with a nice auto attack, so no slow coming in.
Oh, you see the 4 members going up for that Rift Herald. I would expect the 8-minute swap, but a lot of times the ADCs get left down. It's just the supports that start roaming. Mersa is right there, so they could potentially fight this 4v4 if they want to. klowny is isolated towards the top side though. He has the flash.
They're going for the dive. Oh, he just flashes straight out.
That was very well played. I feel like klowny has been the recipient of a lot of pressure coming into SuppUp, but he has been performing so well. Now he's gonna ditch his wave topside to fight with his team.
Yeah, but look at the mini-map. Supa already over here. VZZ a long, long way away, so they've got backup of their AD carry.
Jinx flank?
Rift Herald's going low. I don't think Supa actually wants to flank on the Jinx. He will just get completely blown apart. But that's actually buying time for the Seraphine to come in. As the cannon barrage has been picked up, Spooky secures the Rift Herald for his team. No, it was actually G2. Here's the hook, though, and here's the fight to break out next. Already so much damage being put into Mersa. The Super Mega Death Rocket's there. The Charm lands onto 2. Instant cleanse out, and that is a double kill for the Crocodile. Beautiful team fighting. They're going to take the portal through. Koldo in trouble. Big Barrel's going to hit onto 4 members. Supa still pretty healthy. G2 are just going to make their way out with the 2 kills.
Okay, that was so well played by SuppUp. The micromanagement of how they move towards that river. They've seen SuppUp, they know he's moving up, but Seraphine is not there yet. So they're trying to go for the steal first, waiting for the Seraphine to arrive. Look at that, no one moves forward. The second they see VZZ entering the topside river, this is where they start fighting. They have the shields coming in, a beautiful double taunt coming from VZZ Seraphine, and a double kill for 2 hours. We have highlighted over and over and over again how important it is when 2 hours pops off. When this guy is big, his team does not lose. Big pop of performance onto the Akali yesterday, and right now, 11 minutes on the in, onto the Renekton, has the 2-0.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be a rough lane for him as well. This has been a really, really nice start. Spooky getting himself caught out, is able to flash away. Efias burned his flash in that top lane earlier. G2 are going to look to try and get their hands on to this dragon, and this will be their second one and our first non-infernal soul of the day. We had them in the first 3 games. So a bit of a change up here. It's going to be an ocean soul in this game. Both teams are going to love that one.
I do really like how G2 Arctic are not sort of dissuading themselves away from what their goal is here. They've already started with the dragons, stuck in the map that early will give them a huge benefit later on. Having the dragons, even if you're behind a team, if you have the dragons already stacked up, that means you can afford to lose some. So even if SuppUp keep getting the advantages into these fights, your Syndra scales, your Gangplank scales, your Jinx Uber scales later on, you will be able to take the fight at some point. Oscarinin in trouble again.
He does have that orange, but there's only so much CC he can cleanse. He is locked underneath the tower, and 2 hours will just cook him with the Dominus. That is the 5th kill for SuppUp, and he's able to teleport back to mid lane. Minion's not going to take down the Crocodilian today. Oh, rocket! No, he's fine.
That's a sword flying through them up, and I'm like, surely not, surely not. Very clever ward right there on the raid. Spotted Fresskowy. Trying to roam up the top side, but very well played again there from 2 hours, using his lead to try and get other teams ahead. Now, if you look at the top lane, 5 kill participation for klowny. And honestly, you're like, how does the top laner, 13 minutes in, he just has a lost chapter in a tier, how does he have all the skill participation that early? You're like, oh, that's because there's only been pressure up the top side, and that really does snowball to the other lanes. You see that the Syndra is not necessarily ahead in CS, even though 2 hours has been missing from the lane for all this time. Oscarinin has been screwed up the top lane. He had to lose 2 to 3 waves worth of experience and CS. That means he's going to take that much longer to scale, and Fresskowy is in a lot of trouble.
Oh, I think he's just dead here. The depth charge has been used. He has to flash away to safety. It does mean he survives. That's now a flashless Syndra. Question is what can SuppUp actually gain with this?
That's extremely useful, because 3 minutes down the road, that Ocean Dragon will come up, and that means that the Syndra will be extremely volatile, walking through these choke points, trying to check together with her team. So they know the timer right now, they know that he will not have it for the next Dragon fight, and they can try to abuse it with Mersa's ultimate.
Absolutely. 2 hours, kind of just continuing that dominance we were talking about at the beginning of the game.
I wonder how close he is to his item.
He's 3-0 right now. High kill participation. 3 out of the 5 kills for his team. Doing the work. He's doing the work right now. This is great to see.
Man.
Been a consistent player, but Koldo is being denied his crab. 2hours will not let this happen.
You really hate to see that. 2hours is so strong right now. I really want to see how close he is to his item because it seems like klowny is very close to completing the Everfrost. Oh no.
Fresskowy locked down and he will be taken out by Spooky. G2AR just crumbling right now to SuppUp. They do have 2 dragons, so they at least don't have to worry about a soul coming up anytime soon. So VZZ will be the one playing weak side. There is a ward, though, that will spot out Efias if he tries to move forward. So first tower will get picked up by Supa.
But it's fine. He's sort of playing second support right here. It's not necessarily that you want your Seraphine to be so beefy early on, but this Jinx has 6k already in her pocket. He's gotten full plates, if not 4 maybe, down the bot side and first tower. So that means Supa is going to be extremely fed. I'm pretty sure Renekton has the money to complete his first item. Ryze does as well. So klowny and 2hours are going to be huge on the next fight. The Everfrost is going to prove to be so worth it here because every single champion from the side of G2 Arctic comes at you head on. The Udyr is running at you, the Alistar is running at you, you stun them down, your strong champions from the side of SuppUp will just jump through them and dive into the backline, especially since we highlighted how Fresskowy will not have that flash available for the next dragon fight.
And it looks to me like G2 may just forsake this dragon and actually look to pick up another tower onto Supa, because Supa does have a gold lead over VZZ right now. He is kind of a late game insurance policy for G2. So it looks like for now, they're just looking to funnel as much solo golden experience into them and just forsake this dragon. Because they got those first 2 dragons, they're okay to give up an ocean dragon now and buy themselves another 5 minutes of farming time for the Jinx.
Yeah, they have to. And we said from the start, this is the win condition, right? You can lose 3 dragons in the row and then try to go and fight for the soul. That's not a problem because your Jinx already has the Kraken. But if you look at the items overall, on the side of SuppUp, they have 1.5 items already completed, whilst some of the G2 Arctic members are suffering to complete the first one.
Uh-oh, Koldo being sliced and diced and locked down as Spooky's making his way over. Mersa also pretty heavily chunked right now. Supa coming in on the flank, got the Kraken Slayer up as Efias comes in with the headbutt and the pulverize. The teleports are getting used as the Zap comes down. That's already a shutdown for G2 as the Encore comes in. Everfrost by klowny's not going to hit anyone as the rocket by Supa just minces through the health bars. But here's klowny. Here might just be the turnaround for SuppUp. The Bear slams into the backline and it's a double kill on to the Ryze as the Realm Warp's going to get thrown down and klowny's just trying to make his way even closer to this fight. He finds himself a triple kill like that as the hook comes in, as Supa gets another kill. Koldo zoned away from the Rift Herald, and SuppUp will take this as well.
And what did you say, Heatbrain? G2 Arctic are fine. All they have to do is just chill, take Supa onto that Jinx, put him from lane to lane to lane. Literally, wherever you see blue minions, put him there, make him hoover them up, and just go from there. But SuppUp are not letting them breathe. They're using the gold lead that they have. They're using the item lead that they had. And they thought they had caught 2 hours in between 4 members. Little did they know, 2 hours have them trapped around him. They call in the TP from klowny as well. When you see that all that AoE damage going down from that Ryze, it is just insane. Really hard to deal with, especially since a lot of the defensive items have not come through for G2 AR to get. klowny grabs a double kill and they continue chasing. Remember, Fresskowy still no flash available to him. Spooky remembers the timers, very violently flashes onto him, but that is very important. Sole point for G2 Arctic. SuppUp cannot continue ignoring this.
That's 23 minutes, and G2 could have themselves an Ocean Soul, making the Alistar when his ult's on really hard to kill because the amount of healing he'll have and just the base resistances. Also, just gives a bit more sustain to Fresskowy and Supa. So this is one good thing that is going here for G2, and one of our criticisms we had about G2 was they felt a little passive coming into the group stage of the European Masters. But this game, they are being proactive. Sure, they're losing fights. Sure, they're going for fights, but at least they're doing something. Because it felt like in their other games, they've just kind of rolled over. Speaking of rolling over, Supa is going to have to run to the wind. Otherwise, he'll be getting caught out by Mersa. But this may just give a bit of time for SuppUp to take this tower. Remember, they have that Rift Herald. So it looks like G2 rotating their entire team over to make sure this tower stands. This is just buying time for 2 hours in the bot lane.
The problem here from G2, I think, roots from the fact that they are too fixated on neutral objectives. They've lost a couple of fights trying to go for the Rift Herald. Even the one that they secured with the Smite, they couldn't take for themselves because they lost the fight. And there's another one.
You might have to hold that fort because this is going to be the teleport getting used. The charm lands onto multiple members. Fresskowy and Supa can't even get close to the fight as Spooky secures another kill for his team, taking down Efias.
Okay, this will not result in much because you've managed to kill an Alistar, but you've also expended every single ultimate in your book, except maybe the Ryze ult. Wait.
Oscarinin, why did you go for that? Spooky just gets another kill. Here comes klowny, and he's just mopping up people. No, Supa shuts him down right in his face. And they're just going to have to make their way underneath this tower to safety because Mersa looking for the flank. They're going to have to forsake their tier 1 in the mid lane.
Oh my god, klowny just gave me a heart attack there. That was a beautiful flank, grabbing both the carries right there. And again, on a very crucial dragon that's coming up. Supa, no summoners. Fresskowy, no summoners. Look at this right here. They're picking up fight over and over again, although this time it was in a very, very beefy Alistar. You see that Spooky had to actually ultimate out of the fight. They do kill the Alistar. They grab a lot of the ultimates from G2 Artic. And right there, like, you see 2 hours on that VoD. There's no way you want to take this fight. Oscarinin chooses to move forward and gets instantly punished. And then look at klowny. He's like, I see 2 carries are here. I'm flashing forward. Fresskowy literally survives by the skin of his teeth, but that's really important summoners that will not be available on these 2 carries for the next fights to come. And we do know how G2 Arctic are so fixated on getting these dragons. They are on soul point, and I really wonder if their greed is going to lead them to try and take that soul in 2 minutes' time.
It's a real question of what is the lane state's going to be for that? Because at the moment, they've got a pretty nice shove in the bot lane for Oscarinin has sorted out there. There will be a large wave, but will eventually push back into them. I'm not sure about exactly on the timing. It probably will be around the dragon time, actually, so that might be a little rough for them.
Aw, Rift Herald feels bad, man.
2hoyrz is going to do his best to walk this one here. He's got a level lead over Fresskowy right now. This is the Renekton versus Syndra lane. And the Renekton has a level lead. He has a CS lead. I know it's only 8, but it's an 8 CS lead. In a matchup we did not expect to go this way. As G2AR doing their best to try and defend this tower from the charges. They will actually be able to stop this.
They're literally just going to run it down towards the mid lane and put as much damage onto this tower as they can. If they manage to get this pressure down the mid lane, they're going to be able to get so much vision inside Koldo's jungle. That means that G2 Arctic will have to face check them. And going through these small choke points with a Renekton, a Ryze, a Seraphine, a Nautilus, it's just going to be so hard. And who's going to walk in first? We saw that Efias, whenever he's tried to make a move, whenever he's tried to engage, he's instantly melted. Koldo is nowhere near his second item yet. He only has a chem tank. He's not tanky enough. So they're gonna have to fall for the dragon. Lucky for G2 Arctic, they have 3 in the bank. So if they want to say, we'll sit back, hashtag we'll scale, they have 15 minutes to do that.
Looks like G2 are actually looking to jump in with the spot of the Ryze in the bot lane. They're waiting for the opportunity. Efias has flash, headbutt pole available. They've got the cannon barrage as well. The SuppUp aren't giving them the opportunity, although they could just threaten this Baron. That is going to force klowny away. There's a massive wave that no one's going to catch in the bot lane.
I think klowny is going to solo the dragon. He has the bot lane push. That means a lot of CS and gold is being missed right there. klowny is just going to solo the dragon, and mid lane is going to be pushed at the same time, whilst Baron is not threatened. G2 Arctic are falling so behind the play right here. They're really lost around the map. The Jinx ult! Oh my god.
That was close. That was very, very close. But they lose their 4th dragon. They lose their soul. So it's another 5 minutes until that comes up. And SuppUp are just going to take this tier 2 in the mid lane. Supa's got the Hurricane, so it's actually able to clear through these waves very, very quickly here.
That's been our criticism, right? G2 Arctic are sitting back and basically they just refuse to lose. They're not being proactive. Like, literally their entire win scenario was getting these 3 dragons, but you're losing everything. You're losing the vision, you're losing your avatars. At some point, you're gonna be so choked down into your own base that the only thing you're gonna have going for yourself is wave clear. And can they turn this around if they get dived? Seraphine is gonna be huge. He's already hit champion items, right? She's got the Moonstab, she's fine, she doesn't need to farm anymore. Renekton, she's gonna get beefier and beefier. Ryze is gonna hurt more and more.
Oh, it was 11 HP!
Klowny, so 5-head right there to just move away from the dragon. So 5-head, honestly.
That was amazing by klowny. That could have been game-changing. Genuinely game-changing, but...
Indeed, that would have
not
given
gonna be.
soul. That would have given soul to G2 Artic.
I guess, like, the one good thing about that not being soul is Elder is a little bit slower to spawn. Might not get the opportunity to speak, though, as they are looking for the fight. The traps have been laid down in the bush, though, and that will just force SuppUp away.
It's not the most optimal positioning if you want to try to get to Syndra and Jinx, because they pretty much will get free hits on you if you walk through that tiny of a choke point, and then your carries will not find an easy way behind unless you get a flank ult by klowny. But they seem to really want to take control of that bush, Hitbrain. They really want that bush.
Do you know what that says to me? It says to me that SuppUp want to choke out the vision and turn this into a Baron. They know that they're stronger right now. They know that G2AR just kind of playing very passively.
Mid.
And with Oscarinin actually getting locked down, he is just going to have to orange and run away, but his flash is already down. Supa's trying to get the damage off, so the hook goes a little bit wide. Spooky very, very low. Here comes the scatter the weak, and Supa shoots out the Super Mega Death Rocket, clips onto the backline. Koldo almost gets caught out as the charm connects onto 2, and now they're looking to turn it onto Koldo, who has to flash away. G2 losing their top laner. A lot of health. And SuppUp may just look to turn this into a Baron, or at least threaten it.
That is massive, because not only that, but they've taken Koldo's flash, which means if he wants to go for a steal, he has to walk right through the entirety of SuppUp. There is no blast for him to get through. He's on the right side. Are they gonna let him do that? Fresskowy is around. Syndra is extremely dangerous around the Baron pit.
Well, Efias is going to get jumped onto. The traps have been laid down. Spooky's trying to find his flank opportunity. G2 are able to survive the onslaught for the moment, and they get a bit of breathing room, a bit of free time on this mid lane turret, although it's still pretty healthy. klowny can actually clear through this wave fairly fast, so that will be the end of that one.
And the later the game goes, the more I'm worried about SuppUp. They haven't necessarily built a gold lead that guarantees them the game. It's just a 4,000 gold lead versus a team that uber scales into the late game, that they have mixed damage scenarios flying at you, and you have a support Seraphine, a Ryze that, yes, he deals a lot of damage, so there's your mage, but who's your consistent AD damage dealer? Because the Renekton, yes, he has Strikebreaker, but he's not an ADC, he's not a Jinx, he's not an Efias, he's not a Caitlyn, he's not a Tristana, he's not going to be able to dish out that consistent damage at you, so they don't necessarily have to be worried about the AD damage flying at them. So I'm just worried that the later this game goes, yes, the Seraphine will make up for most of the damage that you don't do, because she will heal whatever comes their way. But that Jinx, that Gangplank, that Syndra will just out-damage the entire SuppUp.
It's interesting to take a look at the items as well, as the Cosmic Drive has been finished up for klowny, so a bit of extra movement speed. 3 items now on this Ryze.
And beefiness, yeah.
And a bit of beefiness as well. You do get health actually from both the Everfrost and the Cosmic Drive. You actually get a fair amount of health. You got 2 items on to Supa on the Jinx here. Say that as he just finishes his Lord Doms.
And Executioners, very nice.
So has got a bit of armor shred.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice one there for the Jinx. So 3 items on the Jinx is pretty solid right now. You got 2 items on to Fresskowy as well. They got a fair amount of anti-heal between their 2 carries, at least. Remember, the Gangplank also has some pretty good scaling options. Got the Shield Bow and the Essence Reaver finished up for him. So it's not all bad for G2, but they really need to do something with what they've got.
Koldo topside smells to me like they're conceding Dragon, which is exactly what they're doing, but they're not necessarily pressuring anything else on the map. Your Jinx right now has hit peak items. Your Syndra is dishing out really good damage. And you've got your 2 items from Oscarinin. I think it's as good as it's going to get from this point on, because if you concede the next one as well, it's so point. This might be the chance that G2 Arctic are looking for, but my massive problem right here is that vision will not get given to them. I think SuppUp have been so good playing around the vision that they set down, playing into Koldo's jungle, and Koldo here might be in a bit of a trouble.
Yeah, Koldo is going to get himself caught out as klowny will just lock him down with that Everfrost and steal his Gromp.
That could be Baron. Smite is down, 40 seconds onto Koldo. Even if he was up, he does not have the flash still to get into the pit. All you have to be scared of is the Syndra dishing out all these spheres at your face. But they're pulling klowny's TP, they're committing.
They are. They do have that cannon barrage from Oscarinin. They're going to try and clear out some of this vision, but this Baron is going down very, very quickly considering there's no AD carry. It's already half health. It's been spotted out. Here's the cannon barrage. Inside that pit, the depth charge has been used, and the Baron is stolen by Supa. Efias is going to get himself caught out. Scat of the week will buy him a bit of space, but that is going to be one dead bull. But now the rest of SuppUp are just barreling towards the backline. Efias will lose his life as Oscarinin gets himself a nice little barrel chain off as the Realm Warp's coming in. The Scat of the week's not going to be enough, and multiple men is delivered into the face as Koldo's there, but Supa untouched in the fight so far. Here's the Encore. It's going to get blocked out for the moment, but the damage is coming in from this Jinx. It's starting to pile up into Supa as Koldo is going to get himself a kill for Supa, who just flashes into the face of SuppUp. One more all to attack, and he gets the reset. Can't quite find it as G2 flip it back around.
Supa single-handedly puts the backpack on, grabs his entire team, shoves them in there together with 3 items, steals the Baron, decimates the next team fight, takes mid lane control. This man on your screen is on absolute fire. And if you didn't know what I meant about SuppUp not having sufficient enough AD damage, you'll see what happens after the Baron goes down. So yes, sure, there is no smite, but that Jinx ultimate really, really does hurt. And even though Spooky tries to dodge it, it hits Mersa, explodes onto the Baron. And look at that Alistar. This is just an Alistar support with a Solari, everyone piling onto him. 2hours will turn back as well, and you'll see that it takes so freaking long to kill one support. This is the AD consistent damage that they're missing from not having an ADC. And once Supa starts auto-attacking, the health bars melt from SuppUp. This could very well be the game-turning play that G2 Arctic were looking for.
And this is a much needed win for G2 if they can find it. Remember, they are 0-2. SuppUp have got 1-1 and have challenged every team they have played. They're probably the most underrated team in their group, or they were at least coming into the group stages. But it does look like SuppUp have now forced their way through the mid lane, and they're actually going to look to try and take this as Cannon Barrage is going to get used to secure the wave and make sure that they don't just lose that tower for free. So GT now fighting without a tool.
What's really interesting to see on our map right now is all the red wood vision that G2
Volibear flank, Volibear flank, Supa's been caught out, he's been absolutely annihilated, the charm is disgusting, and klowny's onto the backline, that's 2 kills already for SuppUp, and now G2 are just sent to the wind, pack in a double kill for Spooky, Koldo zoned out, Oscarinin forced a recall, and SuppUp will crack open the base, they may be even able to close out the game, 35 seconds until Supa's alive.
They should. They have no wave clear. They have an entire wave. Yes, the Gangplank is there, but they can dive him.
Yeah, they've got the hook onto him, and Oscarinin will lose his life. It's klowny to secure the kill. 2hours is trying to catch up to Koldo. Koldo's just holding the wave, but the teleport will stop the minion wave from dying. Finally gets the bear slap off, but the towers are going down, and SuppUp are looking to close this game out with 33 minutes on the clock. The Nexus has been left exposed, and SuppUp, it wasn't a fluke. This team are here to play.
Oh my actual God. What did we just witness? That was a lost game. Supa steals the Baron right there, runs down an overextended SuppUp in their last breath, trying to take the Baron buffs down. And then we said it from the start, the Ryze ultimate is gonna make or break the fights. klowny with another insane flank, diving in the backline together with 2hours, completely decimating Supa in that last fight. And even though the GP and the Udyr tried the darnest to stop the wave, I think this was SuppUp's game from start to finish. What an amazing performance. They knew they were getting outscaled. They finished it as fast as they had to.
It was a weird one as well, because it felt to me like G2 did just kind of sit back at some point. They were proactive when they like areas, and then just kind of sat back and just kind of let that game happen around them. And then SuppUp just went, oh, you're not doing anything, so we'll just take over all the areas. And then there were moments where G2 looked to be coming back, that big team fight, the steal. Overall, just some really, really nice stuff there from G2 to try and almost pull it back. But SuppUp just come up absolutely huge. And I'm glad we've highlighted 2hoyrz, because he pulls out Renekton and wins lane versus a Syndra really, really dominantly, very convincing. But then klowny as well. Honestly, an absolutely amazing game from him. But with that, that is going to be the end of that game, guys. We're going to throw it to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll break that game down a little bit more. So we'll see you in a second.
Can't help myself, and I really want to show you that I want to get to know you. Believe what I told you, and I can't help myself when I look into your eyes. I see you don't want to fight it. There's no need to stop trying, because I'll never give up on you, even if that's what you want me to do. Give me a chance, because I know I can prove, baby, the last thing I want is to lose you. Chance for love, and I know I need every single moment with you, because I finally found the one that makes me feel at home. And so I'll never give up on you, even if that's what you want me to do. Give me a chance, because I know I can prove, baby, the last thing I want is to lose you. And I can feel the pain inside of us. To leave you waiting. You deserve more than I ever gave you. You can fall into my arms. Yeah, I promise I can change for your love. Oh baby, I don't mind, 'cause your love's so hard to find.
And welcome to the European Masters. We're coming fresh off a second win for SuppUp here over in Group B. as G2 Artic continue their disappointing streak, I think it's fair to say, during the group stage.
Yeah, it felt like they came too hot over from the Superliga, but then now in the EU Masters in the group stage, we honestly thought that we're going to be one of the contenders to make it out of this group. We literally thought, you know, again, the Balkans are sending a team that are going to be the punching bag for so many others, and that is definitely not the case. They gave a show to be remembered right here. They took care of Oscarinin in the top lane. They said, you raise your global, we'll raise your top lane pressure. Klowny and Spooky gave a beast performance on the top side of the map. Then you have 2hours in the mid lane as well, onto the Renekton, who roamed the map to complete control of the mid lane. And then they just completely forgot balding because they didn't have to, you know. Seraphine is a 2-item moonstaff sort of champion. That's what happened. But the proactivity kept going and going and going. They kept G2 Arctic on the same loop over and over again. G2 Arctic was so fixated onto trying to get the neutral objectives. That was their win condition and trying to scale later on. But SuppUp just simply did not let them. They took that mid-game strong spike that they had with the Ryze and the Renekton and the Volibear, and they just ran away with the win. And honestly, Hiprain, even when it looked like it was lost, because Supa managed to get the Baron in the mid lane, and that would basically just buy them so much more time with the Baron buff to try and get more scale than every other lane. Supa completely shut that down with a massive flank coming in from Spooky and Klowny onto that Ryze again, catching Supa, completely obliterating him and ending the game right after this.
Yeah, it felt like Spooky and 2hours were trying to just setting Klowny up for success. They knew that he was the one who was going to be dealing with big numbers at the end of that game. I mean, you can see the damage on your screen right now. 18k from Klowny on the Ryze. You know, we sung the praises of 2hours, and I gave a kind of little nod to VZZ before this game started. VZZ, quite happy to fall back onto the Seraphine and play a more supportive role.
Yep.
While 2hours, while playing something which, you know, is we expected to go down in lane, was honestly 2hours really impressed me. But Klowny honestly had a pop-off game. I think so did Spooky as well. So it was nice to see a bit of a shake-up from SuppUp. You know, two players who we hadn't really put too much attention into because it had kind of been the 2 hour show. But when we got into game number 3 for SuppUp, it was all about their top and jungle. Really, really good performance from them.
And honestly, I think this is the time where we have to start worrying about the third seed from the Spanish league, because G2 Arctic came in with a lot of promise, and so far they've just fallen flat. It seems that the only strategy so far in the tournament is chill, we're scaling, chill, we're scaling, chill, we're scaling. And there's just nothing going on in the early game. They don't have any early game easy route to get some ganks in, to get some pressure in. It felt like the priority wasn't there from the lanes when they needed it. They didn't play for that. It felt like they were pretty content just having the dragon stacking situation going on for them and possibly looking for a steal or a fight for the Ocean Soul that came up later. And in all honesty, you saw the graphs. Like the Jinx, the Gangplank, and the Syndra were dishing out so much damage that if that game went on for yet another item to be built, I would give the full game to the side of G2 Arctic, because they just had the superior composition for team fighting later on.
Yeah, they didn't get that time, unfortunately.
Nope.
Now, coming up after the break, we are going to have Luminar versus Mouse. But before that, got 3 minutes. Head to the fridge, load up on yogurt. We'll see you in a moment.